Hey guys, Ian Flanagan here, eXp Realty, Dallas, Texas. And on this week's Freedom Friday Mastermind, my business partner, Pat Hayes, is interviewing the one and only Brian Culhane. Brian's story is absolutely going to blow you away and actually show you what's possible at eXp Realty. So I don't want to spill the beans anymore, so let's just get right into it. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and share this with your team members. Hope you enjoy the interview.
All right, guys. Well, I definitely want to give, I love to talk success stories and hear all your wins, guys. I know you guys have been blowing me up all week and sharing, three-way phone calls and text messages with all y'all's wins. I love them all, but I definitely want to have our special guest have enough time to, obviously 45 minutes is not enough time to share his whole entire journey of how I was able to join eXp and kind of how it all came about or whatever, but it'll definitely bring a tear to your eye. And so, guys, I just wanted to introduce, and again, if you want to read his whole bio, go to LinkedIn, read the whole bio. I could sit here and read his resume for 10 minutes, but that would be a waste of time because he's a rock star. And if you guys don't know who Brian Culhane is, guys, this is the time to really hear his message, right? And it's not about wealth. It's truly about wealth and health. And they all come together. And I'm so glad that he was actually able to be on the call because he literally just got out of the hospital a few weeks ago from getting his hip replaced, right? Imagine that, getting his hip replaced, right? And I love that view of the background right there because he's got an amazing story. And I'm really going to say this, and Brian, I hope you're okay with me saying this, but this is a true story from really going to rags to riches. And he deserves it. If it wasn't for him, none of us would be here. And I want him to share with you how responding to Glenn Sanford, if you guys don't know who Glenn Sanford is, and you're with eXp, well, he is the founder of eXp Realty with Brian Culhane, the co-founder of eXp Realty. Brian responded to one of Glenn Sanford's emails on Craigslist. Can you believe that? Back in the day, right? And so just responding to that one email turned his whole life around and truly changed his life. He just moved into his brand new house that him and his beautiful wife and family just built. He's building another beautiful training facility, I think in the mountains, just not too far away. And he has been able to help grow this amazing company called eXp Realty with Glenn Sanford side by side for almost 13 years now. And so without further ado, I'm going to give it up to my man, Brian Culhane. Brian, welcome to the call, my friend. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Pat. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, man. Hey, Brian, I just want to say again, thanks so much, man. I know you literally just got out of the hospital a few weeks ago. First off, I wanted to say, man, I hope you're doing well. Looks like you're doing well. Probably doing better than anybody else because you're taking all your supplements. You got your walker right there. You're doing your cold plunges. You're doing your.
So here's the deal. I'm actually getting ready to ditch this. So I brought this as a prop today, but I'm pretty much almost done using the walker. I'm using a little bit of a cane action now. I got a surprise for everybody here in a minute, Pat. So I'll but I'm gonna maybe take you guys on a little bit of a tour of the house today here in a minute.
Oh, I love it. Let's do that. Okay, so hey, so I know we've got about 50 minutes or so, man, and I definitely respect time. But what I really want to kind of take it all back, man, because this is truly, we always on this call we share success stories and wins and life-changing stories of an agent that's crushing it with agent attraction or with selling real estate or doing both. And I know you're definitely doing both, man. And the revenue share has changed your life at a portion of your accident whenever you only had a certain amount of money coming in. And I want you to really hit hard on that because, a little bit of revenue share can change your life. And that's what got you through. And then, the stock, man, you helped grow this company. You put blood, sweat, and tears into this company. Whenever I first met you, man, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know who you were. And I didn't know the journey you had already been on. And it was the beginning, really, man. It was just the beginning. And you have never given up, man. You have never given up. You're such a role model to this company. And a lot of people, a lot of new agents on here, they don't know who Brian Culhane is. And I think they need to know because if it wasn't for you and Glenn not giving up, none of us would be here. None of us would be here, right? And so, man, I want to shut up, but I want you to kind of take it all the way back and sum up. It's going to be hard to sum up the last 15 years, but dude, I know the story and it brought a tear to my eye and it always brings a tear to my eye. So, man, you got the floor. Take it away, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, eXp is a journey, right? It's an exercise. It's a muscle. It's something that you have to work consistently and persistently. I mean, I'm going to be throwing a lot of cliches, a lot of gold nuggets, but a lot of the stuff is stuff that I've learned, gleaned, ascertained by working with people, Glenn in particular, but people like Pat, people like Bob Hayes. Morning, Bob. What's up, Dad? And a whole bunch of people. There's a bunch of people on this call today. Bobby Jones, I see you. I see you, Aziz. We got Tyler. So I got some new people that I just signed up, some new frontliners. I got people that are brand new to eXp. I've got people that have come back to eXp. And there's some people that are just thinking about joining today that we all have on the call today. So I want to welcome everybody. My story is, inexorably tied to my real estate story, my eXp story, my wealth journey, as if you will, is inexorably tied to my health story. So it's kind of, apropos that we're here today talking about all of it, right? I'm, as Pat mentioned, I'm recovering from my third hip surgery. And this one was self-inflicted, right? I intentionally went in and got my hip revised, and basically they, took out a few pieces and cleaned this out, some stuff. I ended up getting an infection a few months ago that knocked me out of the game pretty bad. I thought it was from lifting weights. I thought it was pushing too hard mechanically, but it ended up being a bacterial infection. And so that launched me down this huge rabbit hole of having to get, but if it wasn't for eXp I'm going to kind of weave this in and out of, my current story and kind of the longer form story. But if it wasn't for eXp, I wouldn't have the time or the ability or the financial freedom to do any of this. Right. And so, let me take you guys back. So I grew up in Chicago. I was a blue collar kid in a white collar neighborhood. I was kind of a bootstrap, steel toe boot, hard hat, name tag wearing kid. My dad was a limo driver. He was a courier. He ended up getting his Series 7 license, his day trader license. He ended up being I was raised by a struggling artist. My brother, who's on the call, Matthew, he's 13 years younger than me. He was raised by a struggling a stockbroker. So but effectively, my dad was a painter. He was an artist. And my mom was a nurse. Ironically, my mom ended up being a nurse for two different billionaires. And toward the end of her career, she ended up being a nurse for W. Clement Stone. So for the Chicago folks on there, Bridget and Aziz and so forth, you guys might know W. Clement Stone, big insurance executive. He actually figured out leverage. He figured out he did the math. He figured out that instead of selling one insurance policy to one person at a time, he started going into offices and selling 50 insurance policies at a time on lunch breaks and, in different offices in Chicago. So he figured out how to become a macro sales, and he ended up leveraging and scaling and building a passive income business and basically a real estate empire in Chicago. And then she ended up working for Leonard Lavin, who was another billionaire. And he started Alberto Culver. You all have many of his products in your house right now. And so I got the fortune of kind of sitting at the feet of these billionaires as I came up over the years. And also, as I learned later, my grandfather, who had passed away on the way to his dad's funeral when I was 2, was also working for the Pritzker family, and he was the president of their holding company. So I'm not stranger to wealth. I grew up around wealth. I grew up around some of the wealthiest people on the planet. I grew up in Highland Park, Illinois, Northbrook, north suburbs of Chicago, on the lakeshore. I had friends with indoor basketball courts, and Michael Jordan used to park his cars in their garages, their 10-car garages, right, when he was in his rookie contract. And so I grew up around wealth. I was up against the glass. I could smell it, right? I was, on the other side of the chain link fence. I could see it. I could hear the Ravinia Festival classical music playing, right? If I could listen, from my yard. So I knew what wealth looked like. I could smell it. I could taste it, right? I saw it every day. I walked by it, but I didn't have it. I didn't feel wealthy. I didn't have what wealth brought into my life, which was time and financial freedom ultimately, right? So that should be everybody's goal, by the way. I always do this when I train and talk to people about what do I coach? I coach you. I'm a liberator. I'm not a coach. I help you achieve time and financial freedom. I help you bring about time and financial freedom, because here's the reality. Time and financial freedom is not out here. It's not external. It's an internal thing. It's a byproduct, just like eXp. is a muscle. So is time and financial freedom. It's a muscle. You have to work it. Okay. So success is a muscle at some level. Happiness is a muscle. Okay. These are the secrets I want to share with everybody. This is the stuff I've been working on personally to try and unlock. I'm trying to solve some massive riddles in my life. I'm trying to make some massive connections. So when I left Chicago, I was 27 years old, literally threw all my clothes in a garbage bag, jumped in my buddy's car. He was coming out here to take a job and in the mortgage biz. And so I said, I'll ride out with you. I had no other options. I was doing commercial real estate advertising sales in Chicago for a few years. So I had a taste of real estate. I knew what it looked like. I'd been around people that were building skyscrapers and doing some really cool stuff in Chicago. So when I got out to Arizona, the first thing I did was jump in cold water. And the second thing I did was I started going around and interviewing and thinking I was going to go into commercial real estate. I went to start to get my license. I was collecting unemployment at the time. I was waiting tables. So listen, folks, I mean, there's no excuse. My story is like every excuse in the book to quit.
Yep.
Right. I mean, life has done nothing but throw shit at me. And it's like the ultimate test, right? It's like constantly testing you. We have a phrase, Pat and I have done some retreat work, and we've done some physical and mental health training and together. And one of our favorite phrases is, the obstacle's not in the way, the obstacle is the way, right? You should intentionally be putting obstacles in front of you. You should be working on your obstacle immunity, as a matter of fact. Okay.
Right.
Put that down, obstacle immunity, work on that. So came out to Arizona, started hiking Camelback Mountain, started jumping in cold water, and I started interviewing, and I started getting my real estate license. And I thought, I was going to try and go into the big leagues, which I thought was commercial. And I was checking my email at the public library, right? I didn't have a car, didn't have a Arizona phone number. I mean, I was really faking it till you met. I mean, faking it doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, guys, did you hear that? He snuck into the public library to go check his email.
Hotmail, right?
Hotmail. Jeez.
And so Craigslist, which is kind of coincidental. My mom got those two jobs off of classified ads in the back of the Pioneer Press. So the billionaires were putting ads in classified in the back of the newspaper looking for, nurses. Okay. So you never know where you're going to find that little mentor, that little secret opportunity, or that person that's going to, so I'm searching Craigslist, which was effectively like our want ads, our classified, the tech version of classified ads. Right. So I'm searching Craigslist. And I see this opportunity that said, looking for a team leader. I got leads. And I was like, oh, okay. I know what leads are. I know that's, this was 2004. Okay. So the internet was still kind of, not that prevalent, and internet leads were not widely known, and people didn't know how to work them. They didn't know how to generate them. So Glenn was kind of the early pioneer in all this sort of early internet lead generation space. Okay. He was probably one of the top search engine optimization experts in the world. I mean, he was a top 50 Keller Williams agent by the time I met Glenn in 2004, 2005. So Glenn was already at the top of the game for that, right? So when I met him, he basically had a Phoenix website that was called phoenixpowersearch.com, and that website was already a behemoth. I mean, it was generating leads. Kind of a side story, he had tried to give the team leader position, or basically the internet lead machine. He had tried to give it to a top Keller Williams team leader here in the Valley, and the guy didn't close a zero. He closed 0 out of 100 leads. So Glenn took it away from him.
Wow.
Okay. A lot of you probably know this guy's name. And his initials are MM. Okay. Big Ahwatukee agent, owns a ton of Keller Williams regions. And he fumbled. He couldn't close. So then here I was in real estate school, but I played a little ball. I was coachable. I didn't have a lot of bad habits, as Glenn said. So he gave me the job. Now, here's the crazy part, Pat. I hadn't even passed my real estate test yet.
I remember that. Yep.
And, and I think, I'm so awesome. Well, it's not about being so awesome. The reason why I always share that is because, Pat, what business are we in? We're in the business of sharing opportunity with people, right? We're kind of like benefactors. Hey, here's an opportunity. Here's an opportunity. Hey, would you like a little bit of this up? Would you like to look at this opportunity? Right. So we're constantly in this opportunity sharing business. And I think about how I had an opportunity shared with me. And this opportunity was huge. I mean, if you look back on it, being a team leader for a top ranked website that generated, I mean, Glenn probably generated $1 billion worth of leads in those first 2 or 3 years. So, I mean, we were talking big numbers, big stuff, big operation. I was in charge of. Hadn't even passed my real estate test yet. And he offered me the position. And of course I said, no, I don't believe in myself. I can't possibly, I'm not worthy yet. I need to be on someone's team first for 3 or 4 years before I can possibly
become a team leader. Yeah.
Fucking took the job, right?
Yes. Thank you.
I said yes.
Yep.
Ultimately, I said yes to opportunity. I didn't even really know what it was. Okay. Yep. Hadn't passed my real estate test. I didn't know what selling a house looked like. Didn't know what writing up a contract. Didn't know how to open a lockbox. I didn't know anything. But I said, all right, it sounds like you got some, what did I recognize?
You recognize the opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. And I recognized somebody. Here's this guy. He had a little momentum. He had some stuff going on. He talked differently. He used big words. He talked about success philosophy. one of the first things he said to me was when he hired me, and I never forget this, he said 2 things to me. But the first thing he said, I said, you know what he said? He said, Brian, you know what every real estate agent should do as soon as they get their license? I'm like, what's that? He goes, they should start a brand and they should call themselves the CEO of their own brand.
You were like, what the heck is that?
Dude, I work for you and your team, and we're at some brokerage called Keller Williams. What do you mean? Like, I'm like the 5th brand on the totem pole. What are you talking about? I'm the CEO. Nice try. I'm like, yeah, thanks, boss. And he's like, don't call me boss, call me coach. So those are like 2 really things that stuck out right out of the box for me. I'm like, this is a different kind of person. Like talked like a different kind of cat, right? Like he was like using some really high level enlightened thinking. And I was kind of in that space, right? I was a philosophy student. I studied Socrates and Plato and Aristotle. So I was kind of I dug philosophers, and Glenn was definitely in that realm, right? Success philosophy, we'll call it. Okay. So I took job, worked this model for 3.5 years at Keller. We crushed it. We crushed it so hard that we left Keller and we started a brokerage called Buyer Tours.
Yep.
And nobody knows about this, but Buyer Tours was our first attempt at a brokerage. It was a small boutique, but Glenn was doing this in 6 cities. So he was a Bellingham, Washington guy traveling around. I mean, what was Glenn ultimately doing? He was designing the ultimate lifestyle. Anyone who's with eXp that's on this call that does what Pat and I do, you are a lifestyle designer. You're a lifestyle cultivator. Okay. I mean, I'm working today. What am I doing? I'm cultivating the ultimate lifestyle. I already went for a swim. I did my breath work. I hit my Purium.
I see that steam off the hot tub right there. I love it, man. Hey guys, I want everybody to take a picture of this view right there. Put that up on your vision board. I want a view of a house with mountains in the background. That's where I go. I'm going to put that on my vision board.
Yeah, you should. And you should actually, everyone should, here's a great assignment for everybody on the call. Here's a good little homework assignment. Everybody should take out a piece of paper and write my life at 75. You should think about this. Like, how do you want, like, first of all, here's some big things you should all be tracking. What's your current net worth? What do you want your net worth to be at 75? Okay. How much acreage will you own? They judge true wealth is measured by the amount of acreage you own. Okay. Here's a crazy concept, right? Like take my story. Here's Glenn and I, faking until we make it, talking about cloud offices and the future of real estate, but when we really didn't have any money, so we couldn't afford offices, and we were, talking about all the stuff we were going to do and this and that, and talking and ideas, and boom, $8 million house.
Yes.
Boom, 13 acres in Sedona. Boom, I own 30 million in commercial real estate. Boom, so I turned talking ideas, storytelling into real property. You can't take this away from me very easily.
I love it.
And not without a fight, right?
I love it. No, congratulations. Okay. All right. So no, we're getting back to the best part of the story. Okay. So take us back to the buyer tours and then lead up to.
Yeah. So buyer tours, we're cooking 6 offices, 6 brokers, 6 sets of everything times 6. You know, Glenn's making money. We're closing deals. Market crashes 2008, October. We go 3 months without a single transaction in any of the 6 markets. Glenn's now $500,000 underwater. Shut everything down. Timeout. Fired. Cut. Clip. Shut it down, get out from under the leases. We did anything we could to save money. I mean, stop sounding familiar, right? You know, the big recession came, right? The Great Recession swooped in. And Glenn calls this emergency meeting and gets us all together in an office in Tempe. And he said, hey, everybody, listen, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for a while. We got to reinvent the brokerage model. We got to come up with an economy-proof concept, or we're going to all have to go find other jobs. And I was like, I don't want to go back to waiting tables. That sucks. And I carried golf bags too. That was my other vocation, right? So I was good at carrying golf bags and waiting tables. So I was like, I can't do that. And, you know, that was the beginning of sort of the eXp experiment, right? That was the genesis of, could we come up with a more efficient way to brokerage a real estate model, right? So that was the birth of the eXp concept. And then about 8 months later, we rolled out eXp Realty in earnest. And that was,
I think that was what, October of 2009, right?
October 2009. So I've been working with Glenn for almost what? So 2005. So, you know, what is that? 18 years, 17, 18 years.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. So let me, so I know, so from 2009, man, you guys were growing. You know, obviously, you know, it wasn't an overnight success, right? And so,
oh no, I mean, here are the numbers. It took us 6 years to get to 1,000 agents.
There we go, guys, right there. That's what I wanted to point out. 6
years to get to 1,000. Now, put
6 years.
It took Keller Williams 13 years to get to 1,000.
Yeah, there we go, right there. And just a few months ago, guys, eXp was growing at 1,000 agents a week, right? So you can see how hard, right? The blood, sweat, and tears. They did not give up. Right? They built the foundation of eXp to where we're at right now. 6 years to get to 1,000.
And Pat, you know what we didn't do? We didn't talk about our problems.
Yeah.
Because I just want to share that with everybody. Like, here's what's really powerful about eXp. And this is what's powerful about what Glenn and I were doing. And this is what's powerful about everybody on the call and the opportunity you all have today. Right. And I don't want to get too esoteric, or I don't want to get too, you know, off the rails here, but I do want to share this concept. So people talk about eXp being a revolution, but I think it's more like a reformation. But if you think about what was the good news, right? You know, Easter and is coming, and the concept of good news, and really, if you think about it, what was happening was stuff was really bad. Like the times were really bad. It was like, you know, I'm watching shows on like, you know, 200 AD or 200 BC. And like, it was brutal. I mean, like life was brutal. Everything was brutal. Like existence, you could barely eke out a lifestyle, and there was oppression and Romans, and just, it sucked, right? Life sucked. And here were these people came along and they're like, hey, have you heard the good news? And I was like, what are you talking about? It's misery. Like there's no good news out there. And like, no. Like, but what was really happening, if you boil it down to its essence, is shit sucked. And here was these people with a positive message. Okay. We have a positive message. We have an economy-proof brokerage. Like we can still do business whether there's a pandemic, whether there's a shutdown, whether there's you got a sniffles today, you got a broken hip. I can still meet with my team. I can still do business. I still receive income, right? I don't have the ability to walk. If I lose the ability to talk, if I lose the ability to, you know, do anything, I've set my business up to the point now where my family can continue on living the lifestyle that I've come accustomed to living, whether I'm here or not.
Yep. And also I want to hit on too, because this is a big thing, how, you know, a lot of people don't know how powerful the revenue share is, right? And so let's kind of talk about that first bike accident, whenever you were riding your bike and you fell and you hurt your hip, and then you couldn't work for a long period of time. And thank goodness you had a certain amount of revenue share, which I think you said it was $3,000 a month to cover your bills for months. You couldn't show a house.
Yeah, most. I mean, it was basically, 2011. So, again, we were probably a year and a half in, less than 2 years into eXp. I mean, it took us 6 years to get to 1,000 agents total. So I couldn't have had more than a couple 30.
Yeah.
40 in my total org, right? So
yeah,
there's some people on this call right now that have 30, 40. I mean, Terry just talked about having 120 people, and I don't know how long you've been with us, Terry, but that's an amazing number, right? In essence, that's about 100 grand a year in passive income for the rest of her life. And that's just grow. So that little chunk, I mean, 30 people, maybe 2-3 grand, maybe a month was just enough. We just built a house, like a new build, first time home buyer. We got in with the first time home buyer credit, and then we had just had we were pregnant with our second child. So, I mean, you couldn't talk about being more under the gun, pressure. Started eXp, Glenn wanted me to travel and do all this stuff. Boom, broke my hip. Oh, by the way, still had to sell houses, still had to recruit, still had to train everybody, teach all the classes, run all the committees, do all the leadership meetings. And I can't walk now.
Oh,
for 9 months. This is the walker I got the first time. So I've murdered it out because I can looking at the thing, but that was my old walker from the first injury in 2011. So now I couldn't walk. They pinned the hip. I can't walk I couldn't put weight on it for 6 months.
Woo.
Weight bearing 6 months. And it was a 2-year, and we still grew eXp. I wasn't out there telling everyone my life sucked, because who would have joined me? I mean, there's some people on the call that I think were with me back then. I mean, imagine Brian Culhane broken bones, broken hearted, broken spirited.
Come join me,
guys. Come take a chance on this brokerage. Someday it's going to be great. I promise. But right now it sucks.
Yep. But let's talk about how powerful that revenue share was, because you grew it for about 18 months to 2 years, and you were making about roughly $3,000 a month. Because I talked to
saved my family, kept us afloat. I mean, without it, no question, I'm moving back to Ohio, moving in with the in-laws, working some farm life. I've been a good farmer.
Yep.
I didn't want
guys, $3,000 a month. Yeah. Just imagine if you guys are, for one, if you guys, and I'm not knocking anybody, I'm just saying if you're brand new or you've been here for a while and you guys aren't serious about this revenue share, I'm trying to get you serious and excited and motivated about this revenue share, because guys, you never know.
It's life or death, guys.
Yeah. $3,000 a month kept his family afloat for several months as he was laying in bed, crippled, hurt,
Well, and here we are today, Pat. No different. I mean, I've been out of the game for a month. Did my but the infection knocked me out. I mean, I missed eXp Con last year. I missed Growth Con. I missed. I barely. I had a relapse of the infection where I had to go back to the hospital. I was laying in that hospital probably not even 2 weeks ago, and I'll tell you what, folks. I mean, the only 3 things I had. It was one of the worst nights of my life. The only 3 things I had going for me were Rev Share, breath work, and my belief in, a higher power, because those are the only 3 things that I could rely on, that I knew were going to come in, whether I made it out of that hospital the next day or not. Right. So that's what I must have learned this. I don't know who imparted this to me, but I figured out a long time ago that, the whole point of this exercise is to set up something that exists after you don't.
Yep. I love it. So now I want to get to this point real quick, because I do, if you don't mind, I would love to get a little tour of that house to show everybody. Hold on. Hey, hold on. Let me share, because I think this is so awesome. I love this story, because it's so true. Is how we first met. Me and you first met, right? I always say that Brian changed my life because he said yes to that email and eventually grew EXP. And I found EXP eventually back in 2015 from Scott and Tracy Lewis. But my dad and I got invited to the first or the shareholders meeting in Bellingham, Washington. I'll never forget this. April of 2016, my dad and I travel, go to Bellingham, Washington, get ready to go kind of meet everybody. He's so excited. I was going to be one of the speakers. We were up there on stage, and then I was getting ready to speak, and I was standing on the back wall, and I'm 6'1". Brian, how tall are you? 6 what? 6'6", right? So he's tall. He's tall. I'm sitting in the back of the back of the room on the wall, taking pictures, had my phone out, my little iPhone out. I'm adding the EXP logo to my photos, and this guy standing next to me that's 6'6" looks down and he goes, "How are you doing that?" And I said, "Oh, hey, man, nice to meet you. Who are you?" He goes, "I'm Brian Culhane." I said, "Hey, man, nice to meet you. I'm Pat Hayes." He goes, "Are you one of the ones from San Antonio?" I said, "Yep, yes, sir." He goes, "Hey, man, thanks for being here." I was like, I didn't know who Brian was. I
already knew Pat. Pat was great. He was already doing all these cool memes, and he was all in with EXP, and he was a younger guy. So I was like, who is this guy? He's got it all figured out. He's totally banging. So I already knew who you were when I met you, but yeah, absolutely, dude. And what I also like was I was in a different space when you met. So when we met, because I was also, what was that? What year was that? 15?
That was 2016, man. So you told me you were kind of burnt out, man. You were like
burnt out. I felt like I was doing a lot of it all by myself. I didn't have a lot of the sort of other people that had a ton of energy and fire for doing this. So I was just kind of like, meh. And then I met Pat, and it really did help reignite my passion. We just kind of started competing, but like friendly, just having fun with it. I'll keep up with you and I'll keep up. And now, here
we are.
Thanks to Pat.
Yeah, man. Really, I that's right. So it's reciprocal, right? So, I came into EXP fired up, excited, 2016, ready to crush it. And Brian was kind of ready to take a break. And we met, and our energy just collided, and we just started growing together and started having fun together. So it's like he energized me, I energized him, right? And so he was my accountability partner. So, all right, man, let's take a tour of this new crib. Thank you to EXPI.
And tell me how I'm doing. Am I doing all right?
Dude, you're doing great, man. Look at that.
All right. So I'm going to start at the beginning here. We'll just take you through we'll call it the house that EXP built. And, by the way, I'm going to share with you guys some cool stuff because we built this house very strategically. At some point, my home builder is also one of my EX partners, Michael Banovic. So, we're going to probably partner and do some home building for other friends that are making money in real estate and doing things at EXP and they want to start building beautiful houses like this. So at some level, this is a prototype. This is a first of its kind. We also believe that you should live in a healthy habitat, right? Healthy homes, healing homes, because of my health journey. I find it very important that, why should you have to go, recover in a hospital? Why do you got to go recover? Why wouldn't you want to recover in style? Right. So this is kind of what we built. So here's the beginning. Great neighborhood, up like Pat pointed out earlier. You want to be up at the top of the mountain, folks. Cool thing about being at the top of the mountain, though, or a truth to being at the top of the mountain is there's a lot of apex predators up here. So there's only apex predators, and I'm not just talking about the wildlife. Okay, everybody up here, including my neighbors, are at the top of their game. Okay, hawks, the cougars, the bobcats. The birds, the rabbits, all of them are at the top of their game, and so are my neighbors. So the higher the mountain you climb, right, the competition gets thick. All right, so here's living room.
Hey, real quick, introduce your beautiful wife, Christy, right there, man. Because she's got a lot of impact and growth.
Well, listen, Christy is co everything.
Yes.
Hey, Christy.
Hi, what's up?
Hey, congratulations to you guys. I love it, man. Thank you guys for everything that you guys have done.
Absolutely.
We got the kiddos getting up, so I'll do a quick flash of the kids' wing. This is something I'm proud of, Pat, but we created lockers for all the kids. So I have like NBA style lockers, right? So every kid got their own little NBA style locker. We're big on, thought projection. There's G Money Grant. You got my teenager getting up out of the dark layers of his room back there. We'll give him a little space. And again, all this stuff opens up. We wanted to have a really indoor outdoor feel. In Arizona, my dad had called it free living. So that's when you don't have to have the AC, you don't have to have the
I love
heater.
it.
And so, we wanted to have some really cool spaces where we could just enjoy some free living, right? So
I want to see that basketball court.
yeah, I'll get to there. So this is a cool piece, again, just pocket sliders, everything opens up, right? So, tons indoor, outdoor. Again, there's my other office there. I'll share with you this. This is kind of a cool piece. I spent a lot of time in my office, but I spent a lot of time in my closet. So I actually designed this closet, one of a kind. We've got a lot of our trophy space, kind of powerful success items in here. A lot of my just inspirational stuff, stuff that I've collected. Here's a cool piece, Pat, you'll like this. So I actually went and did a sit down with Grant Cardone. He personally went through all my stuff, and basically he effectively gave me his copy of The Psychology of Money. So it's a cool copy. It's got all his little dog ears in it, a little highlighters in there.
That's awesome.
Really cool copy, really awesome stuff. So, and basically, fashion, if ladies want to get, fitted, we could have a tailor in here, do some cool stuff. And it's cool. We're having our interior designers coming, finishing all our stuff in like probably another week. So we're still getting some furniture delivered, but this is really what kind of the key to the house for me is. I really wanted to create kind of that hot cold. So here's the sauna, Cold Fusion Club sauna. We got it cranked up about 185 degrees right now. I brought in some Himalayan salt. So again, respiratory. I'm sure you guys are reading right now about that crazy fungus that everybody's supposed to be scared of. Well, hey, put some Himalayan salt in the sauna, breathe that in, you should be all right. And so, and we can train, like Pat said earlier, training, we do want to bring, our leaders up here. We've already had some people up here. We've had some events. And so as we continue, and then this is the full steam room. So this can crank out the steam. You can slip right outside and you can go right into the cold plunge.
Yes.
Oh, that's our last little thing that we're having installed actually today. Okay, great. Cold plunge. We've got all the floors all heated. So we've got heated floors. So when we want a cold plunge in the winter, obviously is that all open over there? Okay.
Wow.
And then we're on a golf course, so we can go hike, play golf. One of my new things, Pat.
Yeah.
Bird watching.
Oh yeah. Hey, that's peaceful.
Well, and part of here's another hack. You want to really get that morning sun on your face and get it into your eyes. It bounces off the back of your retina. It creates all kind of great brain candy for you. So if you can get that early morning sun, so it's been our little, early morning ritual. I'm a big fan of like mastering the morning now, having a morning routine, owning your morning, because, if you can own the morning, you'll own the whole day.
You own the day, baby. Yep.
Get that oxygen into your brain. It's going to elevate your mood. It's going to make you happier. I mean, believe me, that breath work is what saved me. Being in that hospital, having nothing else to turn to, I would literally just sit there and fall back on my breath work and my mental hygiene training. Oh, there's my little bunny buddy. So we got a little bunny patch out here when I work out. So here's kind of the beginnings of our gym. And then like Pat alluded to.
Guys, check this out. Dang.
Scoreboard.
Wow. I can't wait to shoot hoops with you, man. That's going to be awesome.
So, and like I said earlier, I grew up around very successful people. So I had friends growing up who had indoor basketball courts, and it's kind of ironic, but now, I've been with eXp. I've been, doing well for a number of years. Our ships came in a few years ago. A lot of my friends I grew up with still don't know what the heck I do. They don't know what's going on. They don't know. They haven't really paid attention. Nothing I've done's really caught their eye. Wait, what? Brian just put an indoor basketball court? What's going on, Brian? Like, what are you doing? Now everybody wants to know what's going on. So it's kind of interesting, but you do a Zoom call from your little 1-bedroom apartment and you got a bunch of trophies and hey, that's great. You do a Zoom call with your, your basketball court. It's hard to deny that you're successful.
Yeah, I love it, man. Dude, that's a true success story right there, man. Brian, you've earned every single penny of it, man. I just wanted to say, Absolutely amazing, man. Look at that right there. Look at those rides right there. I love that. Dang. No.
Here, I'll show you. You know what? Let me show you the license plates because that's a good way to sign off here. So can you guys still see it?
Let's see. Yep. eXp 10X, baby.
Yeah, eXp 10X. And again, I just want to surround the kids. I want to surround them with good messages of Culhane Group's eXp.
Yep. eXp OG, baby. Yes, you are. The original.
So this house that eXp built. To me, this really is the manifestation of our health and our wealth journey. The word wealth actually means well health. And so you can't have one without the other. What they say, the person with their health has 1,000 dreams. The person without their health has but just one. And so for me, I would trade all this in, just to get home back to be with my kids again, laying in that hospital bed, but also it was the friends and the people at eXp. I'm telling you, having this support system, all these people that are partners, friends, people that care about you, the prayers that I got, the message that I got, it was 95% eXp people.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, without eXp, it's more than just the money. It's more than just the Rev Share. It's about the success community.
Yeah,
right?
man, we're family. Yep. We are one true happy family.
Like-minded. We all put our differences aside. We all check our egos at the door. And it's like one big giant team at eXp. So if you're still looking and thinking about it, I just hope my story, my message resonates with you. But my story is just one of thousands. There's thousands and thousands of amazing success stories that blow mine away.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's so true. And I was thinking about that the other day. I was talking to an agent the other day. Everybody has their own story of how, eXp was shared with them or came into their life. Yours was unbelievable. I love hearing that story, man. It's a true story. And I'm so glad that you responded back to Glenn's email and locked arms with him and never gave up, right? There was probably 1,000 times that you could have literally thrown the towel in and said, man, Glenn, I'm done. I'm going to go another way, right? I'm going to go another way. I'm going to move on. Thanks. I love you, bro. Keep in touch, coach. I love you, man. But you never gave up, man. That's why I'm so grateful for you, man.
And you know what, Glenn? And this was probably the third thing he taught me. He said, Brian, it's not that people are afraid of failure. They're afraid of success.
Yeah.
And he said, and it's when you get real close to it, you self-sabotage.
Yep.
And so what he taught me was just to get out of my own way.
Get out of your own way. Yep. Amen, man. No, that's true right there, man. And guys, for those of you that are watching here, I see a lot of your faces. We still got 67 on and 68 on. And guys, I want you guys to, take this as, motivation, right? Motivation. If you guys are not where you want to be, get there. Get there. We're almost done with the first quarter of 2023, right? Make the second quarter better. Right.
Well, and start telling, hey guys, let me just tell you the secret. Start telling a better story. Because who's in charge of the story you're telling? Who's the authority of your story? You are. So what story do you want to tell? Is it, I got a little, and my mom, I broke my thing and I got a little, and I can't pay my bills because I got kids and I can't, no one wants to hear that shit.
Yep. Everybody's
telling you, start telling a better story. And by the way, tell it to yourself. You need to start hearing a better story coming out of your own mouth, or nothing's going to change.
Amen.
And I mean, I don't say fake it till you make it, but I say project it till you reflect it. Just project.
Ooh,
start manifest. Surround yourself with pictures. Get that 75-year vision dialed in. I was going to say, take out a piece of paper, write my life at 75, and get some oil paints and some crayons and some markers and get really technicolor with it. And how many acres are you going to own? How are you going to travel? How many houses are you going to have? How many grandkids? How many great grandkids? What are going to be their names? How are you going to fit? How's your health going to be? Are you going to be able to walk? Are you going to take a golf cart everywhere? Are you going to have one of those oxygen tanks when you're 75?
Yep. Wow.
And a push cart. Are you going to be running up the mountain with your great grandkids chasing you? How do you want to live? What kind of lifestyle do you want to have at 75? Because if you can get really clear on that, then as you start to map and measure and compare, you're not comparing yourself to your buddy that you graduated with. You're not comparing yourself to guys like me and Pat, or people like Bridget. You're going to be comparing yourself to yourself from yesterday, and you're going to be comparing yourself to where you are compared to your 75-year goal. And you're not going to get as bummed out. You're not going to and I'm just telling you, not only is it going to happen faster and bigger, and it'll happen before you hit 75, right? Maybe not the great grandkids piece, but the rest of it's going to happen a lot faster than if you have a blank piece of paper. Because if that vision starts to me, my number one job, I always tell this to my wife and my kids, my main job as the patriarch of my family is to maintain the vision. I'm the maintainer of the vision. I just got to maintain, I've been maintaining this vision. We bought this land 3 years ago, Pat. We broke ground 2 years ago. And we the sticks a year ago. We survived COVID, the lumber shortage, the supply chain crisis, the summer of hate. I mean, we survived every single thing that tried to throw us off this mountain. We got an HOA that's on our case. We got, neighbors trying to kick us out and take us to court. Everything in the world has tried to prevent me from building this house, but I had to maintain this vision. We used to come up here every single day, and we just walk out here and we'd look out here and we go, someday we're going to live here. Right.
I remember some of the first pictures, man, you posted, closed finally on my dream lot. And it was a freaking beautiful picture, man. Like the sun coming down behind the mountain or something, man. It was freaking gorgeous.
And I didn't listen to anybody else. I didn't oh, you should sell it, dude. Oh, the market's going to change, bro. And all the bad news and all the doom and gloom. And, what did we do? We took a $50,000 Bitcoin investment and we turned it into an $8 million house. And a lot of it was eXp and talking and living and dreaming. And now it's a reality. And that's how life works.
Wow. Dude, that's huge, man. Powerful. I love that story, man. Life-changing story, man. I love it, guys. All right. Well, hey, we are almost at the top of the hour. I know we got leadership here in about 5 minutes. Go get another cup of coffee. Brian Culhane, man. I love your success. I love your story. I love your journey. I love your friendship. I love your passion, dude. I just love you as a human being, man. You've taught me a lot, and very thankful for our friendship and for you coming in my life back in April of 2016, because I think we both needed it, and we've been both grown together, and it's so fun. We're not competitors, right? We're not competitors. We're shareholders. We are friends. He's my accountability partner. Go find an accountability partner, right? Go take your business to the next level. We're all here for you, right?
Well, it makes it fun. It makes it fun. And you can't do this by yourself. That's the beauty of eXp is we collaborate, we push, we hold each other accountable. You can fake yourself out, guys. And that's the reality. That's why I have cold water brought into my backyard every day, right?
Yes.
But I don't want to do that. It's easy to get into the hot tub, but it's hard to get into the cold tub.
That's right, man. That's right. Brian got me started jumping into cold water, guys. And if you're not jumping in cold water, you need to do it. It'll change your life. Trust me, it'll change your life. I've been doing it for, I don't know what, 6 years. 6 years, right? That's right.
Oh, baby. It's a game shower because it's doing what you don't want to do. It's going to make you tougher. Not only is all this physiological stuff great for your body and your brain, but it's a mental thing. And if you just do what you don't want to do, and you force yourself through it, you're just gonna be better for it in every way. And that's the same with eXp, guys. Look, what is the exercise of recruiting? In essence, it's go out and make friends with strangers. Okay, go out and if I'm training everybody on this call today, I'm going to say, hey, your number one goal should be to make 10 new friends today, 10 new real estate connections. Go out and make 10 new connections every single day. Well, by the way, that is your body goes through fight or flight mode when you're around strangers, right? So to knock on doors or to cold call people is almost a fate worse than death. Biologically you shut down and you get this adrenaline spike and cortisone and all this norepinephrine and you freeze and you'd rather not do it. So guess what? You think it's hokey and whatever. The best thing in the world you could do for your sales team is to get them to jump in cold water every morning because because that is adrenaline management training.
Yep.
And you're going to just like, oh, if I can jump in cold water, what's calling a few strangers? Like that's nothing. Right. So to me, it's all part of the same deal. Right.
Yep. I love it. I love it. Guys, go take a cold shower, go hop in the cold water and go get some vitamin D. Go get some sun. Just like what Brian said, go get some morning sun. Trust me, just the little things will help you change your life and get your day going. Love it, baby. Brian, let's do this. Was powerful, guys. This is being recorded. Brian, I love you, man. Thanks so much for your friendship. Thanks for everything that you're doing. You guys go out. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back next Friday. Love you guys.